Hi, I'm here today with Devin, and the technique I'm going to do on her is going to give her a surfer girl California blonde look. You can already see she is already very blonde, but what I want to do is incorporate some darker blonde underneath and keep her much blonder on the top. That way it will kind of recreate that sun-kissed, that surfer girl look, that California blonde. You can see with her great skin and her blue eyes that she's a natural blonde. But what I want to do is make this hair look healthier and really play up the blonde with the way that her hair falls. We're going to leave her hair long. Of course, it's baby fine. We don't want to cut a lot of hair off of her, but we will shape these ends. But when I weave in this highlight, I'm actually going to use dark golden blonde, and I'm going to weave chunks underneath, starting in the back first. But I'll weave in that low light on the underneath, and when I get to this top layer, that's where I'll incorporate a few through this top here, but I'll really play up the front and make her even blonder. I'll use a blue lightener with a 20 volume for the blonde streaks, and then her low lights are the 7G with a demi. So that way it'll give good deposit, it'll be super shiny. Then I'll finish it with one of our glosses that'll just give it super shiny and a little bit more body. So what I want to do first is just separate this from ear to ear. And we're going to take this neckline, and you can see her natural color. This has no color on it. This is all natural just from the sun. And you can see what the sun has done to it. It's just bleached these ends, and it's created this darker hair that really is not that dark. But what I want to do is just give her natural color, super shine, and plus adding the low lights in her hair will give her hair some depth, and it'll make this hair look thicker. It won't look thinner or darker. It'll still be very blonde around the face, as if she were in the sun or was out surfing all day. So what I want to do first is section off this, and we're going to start in this underneath. By the time I get to her occipital bone here is where I'll stop with the low lights, because we just want it on the underneath. You can already see she's got some of that, and it's just grown out, and these ends are just over bleached. So by redoing these low lights underneath, it'll really give her contrast, but yet still be blonde. But then her blonde will stand out better on that top and around the face. And when I do this, I do starting right here, because this is really a nice color on the underneath. This has very little blonde on this. So getting this out of the way, and we're going to do some slices here. So I'm going to do a big wide piece. And using this 7G, it's a dark golden blonde with demi, so you have no lift on this, just lots of deposit. And we're using this gold will give her ends just a great natural good golden here. You know what happens on these faded blonde ends, they get muddy or drab looking, but you've got to put this gold in here to have that really good shine and even color. So nice section there, fold it up. We're going to do 3 right here, really give her some depth on this underneath. That way the blonde that I add on the top and around the face will really stand out better, and it'll actually make her hair look healthier. Now I'll just work my way around. When I get to the very top, that's when I will start the blonde pieces, and I'll actually do the same weave for the blonde. I'll do some slices in here. And you can see my sections are fairly large, about a ½ inch thick here. And I will work my way around right in front of the ear. I'll add a few just right in front of the ear. Of course, they'll be thinner there because we want to keep her blonder around the face and on the top layer. And then once all this comes down, I'll do a gloss that'll give her some really good shine and plump up this hair. It'll give this hair more body. You can see where I'm going in. Another section here. Nice and wide. I think in this long hair, because I'm not cutting a lot of her hair off, I'll reshape it. In order for this to show up, you want these thick. If they're too skinny, they just disappear. We want this hair to show. See, I'm going with another big piece. This will actually make her natural color look lighter, adding this dark blonde in here. So she'll even have several shades in here, which is nicer, and that creates that sun-kissed surfer girl California blonde. And the best thing about this is the grow out. You know, she'll have a nice subtle grow out, just as if she's been in the sun. Now, I'm getting to the top here. I'm going to do 2 right here at the round of her head. And by the time I get to these sides, we'll do thinner ones there, because her hair is finer at the front. Just a little thinner in front of the ear. Now, one more section here on the top. We'll carve this out in a little V shape, a little triangle shape in the crown, going kind of with the shape of the head there. This section I'll put in with the top. That'll be blonder. But this is the underneath. I'm still slicing a big piece here. This will really give her hair lots of contrast and dimension, but it won't be drastic. It'll still be subtle, but the best thing is how it will leave the hair looking. One more here. This technique can even be done on brunettes, on redheads. I mean, it just creates that dimension in the hair that gives it lots of movement and body, especially on longer hair. And this color leaves the hair so silky and shiny. You can see this baby fine hair just is a little dehydrated, so this hair will actually look much healthier after coloring it. Now, we've got the back. Let's go right here in front of the ear. You can see with the way that her hair falls, that we're going to highlight it with that in mind. She's got this nice side part. I'll go right in here at an angle and pull this down. I'm going to add a piece in this front of this ear, but this, of course, will be skinnier. And I won't go into the hairline. We want to keep that blonde, so I'm going right behind that over the ear and adding another 7G. Same thing on this side. Tangle her here. And you can see what this is going to be so good, because what it's going to do is it's going to enhance her natural, and then her blonde will even pop prettier. So going right here, I'm not going into her hairline. We want to keep that blonde. We don't want to cover up the good natural ones. It's all about placement. You know, when you have long hair like this, it's got to have color in the right spot. It plays up the haircut. Now, one more, just because this side is thicker and more hair. I'm going still at a little bit of an angle here. Still staying away from her hairline, because that's the lightest natural blonde part. We like that. Now, this will be my last low light. I might put one more in the front. Let me look at it first. It's like you just have to look at it as you go. Now, this last strand, this last section will be her highlights. And you can see what's nice when you part this over. Her new growth is just, it's blonde. But of course it looks so dark compared to this blonde hair here. So what I'm going to do is about right to here where I ended this low light. I may add a few low lights in this, but this front is where I'm going to really make her blonder. I'm going to stay away from the hair in front of the ear just because it's the baby fine hair and we want that to look thicker, so I'm going to leave that a little darker. This is where we want to put more blonde. Touch your lip this way for me, sweetie. And applying this as lightener here, this way. Here, the low lights have a head start, so they've been processing. This is going to lighten fast. Touch your head down for me, sweetie. Combing that just on that new growth. I love this. I don't want to make this dry or any blonder because that's really pretty good. Now, we've got this section here. Let's go back to this side. I'm going to add maybe one low light right here because this is the underneath hair right here. And let's see where that'll fall. Let's put one more 7G here. This way the darker is on the underneath and the blonde is on the top. Now, I'm going to keep foiling, and you'll see the rest of this hair is going to be blonde. And I'll bring her back, and you'll get to see the finished look. We're back, and you can see Devon's color is done, and she's got lots of super shine and some really good highlights in the front. And since this is our surfer girl California blonde, I wanted to show her with some beach waves and some really tousled hair. So what I did is I went ahead and did one side, and I did this with the Sucacia spray, the shaping and styling spray, and with the flat iron. And I think what I like about this is it's not a lot of curl at the root, and even the ends are a little weaker. It just has that soft, messy, tousled like beach waves in the hair. And I just wanted to show you, I've got it basically done except for just this side. So I just want to show you how I like to do it, and you can really vary this by doing it big sections, tiny sections. I think using the spray and spraying the section first really makes it crisper and just makes it hold better, a little more defined. So you see I'm taking bigger pieces, and I'll spray this section with this fast drying spray. You can see that color in there where I added those low lights in there with that 7G, so it really gave her another shade in there and gave that natural color, just a super shine. I start and almost go in a vertical, and I curl just the middle of the section, not the roots and not the ends. And you can see I'm using it almost like a curling iron. I'm just twirling it and letting that hair feed in there and leaving some of the ends out. And when you pull that out, you get that really loose, droopy curl that turns into a nice wave when you brush your hands through it. So it has that real textured, tousled, piecey look where those waves are just natural looking. And using the spray, of course, makes it hold better, and it just gives it that shine and definition. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just rolling it almost. And two, I think using the flat iron, you can do this with a curling iron, and you can really do it however you feel like. I like doing it this way just because you can vary the size. The waves can be looser, tighter. It gives you that look of natural beach waves, natural wave. She's got a little wave in here, so that does help. And even if you do have natural curl, you can make your curl larger this way. It's great on baby fine hair that you want some lift or some volume, or just to give the hair texture. Of course, having it on longer hair, you get just a more of an effect like that. But it can be, this can be done on a shorter cut because it just creates that texture and that messiness in there. And we're coming to the front here. You can see I've got big sections. It works. You can work fast this way. And it's really that undone look where you can have just a really casual, soft waves here. Last piece here in the front. And it really plays up the color. When you curl this hair, you see all these streaks in here. And this we don't want so tight. We want this a little looser in the bang area, and pull that out, and it just creates this soft, tousled, really textured wave. Now, you can loosen this up a little bit. The more you pull your hands through it, and as it relaxes, then you get that wavy texture there. Let's almost go through there and get rid of that part a little bit, just so that hair looks like she's been at the beach. Lots of soft waves. And wow, that color really pops. Now you can see that streaks that I put in there with that blonde and those low lights. It really gave this hair around her face that was just a hydrated and over blonde. Now her hair looks thicker. She's got more body and just more texture to the hair. This is her look.